Hey, it's Matt Moscona. You found it. It's AFR Saints, your home for daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Please subscribe, smash the like button, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And our content this football season is presented by BetUS. Score a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. Enjoy the video. Who dat? Do it every Tuesday during the football season. Visit with our guy Sean Salisbury. Catch him on Twitter, X at Sean Unfiltered. Love to talk quarterback play, all things football here for a couple of segs. Sean, early happy Thanksgiving, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. Same to you, man. Good to be with you.
Thanks, man. Always our pleasure. Hey, I want to start with the Saints this week. The Saints are coming off a bye. They got the Rams coming in. I'll ask you a question I've been asking a good bit. When you saw on Sunday Night Football what Saquon and the Eagles did running the football against the Rams, is that something that is replicable this week for the New Orleans Saints? Because, man, that's hard to ignore when you see an NFL back go off for 250.
Oh, yeah, and what do coordinators – first of all, they're not dumb. The coordinators are pretty smart. They're going to go after it. And then the other side of it is if you're the Rams, you're saying, well, there's another good team that can run the football efficiently with the little mix, with the Taysom Hill and Kamara. They know how to mix a few things in, so you would expect them to try the same thing. So if you're the Rams, what do? You say, we're going to make them beat us throwing the football. Well, they're capable of doing that at quarterback. So it's the old cat and mouse and the chess piece that goes with it. But the one thing that's missing, as good as Alvin Kamara is and as good as Taysom Hill is, Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the Philadelphia Eagles and is one of the MVPs of this league. He has just the screen game, his ability to catch the ball, and you see him. He's not just a guy who will take it in and thump you, but he's got such big playability. So, yeah, of course you want to replicate it, but when you're doing something well, you want somebody to repeat it. Or if somebody else does it, you look at it and say, okay, how do we attack that? By formationing it different, so it doesn't always look the same to the Rams that it may have with Philadelphia, but by window dressing it, but trying to get the same result. The other side of it is obviously the Rams defense is saying we were humiliated in the run game. And, Matt, there's a difference. To me, when you're throwing the ball all over somebody, and when you do that, that's one of those, the guy dancing around the ring and hits you. And I've mentioned boxing before on this show, I think, is that he hits you and lands that right hook, and you say, wait a minute, that was a lucky blow. I want a rematch. But when they are running the football and pounding you into submission, it steals your soul, like I've said before. And so the Rams don't want their soul stolen. So they will do everything they can to try and guard against it, which should create some outside the numbers and perimeter opportunities because the Saints are capable of running it. We saw before the bye week that they can run it. But Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, we're talking about different unique dudes, and Saquon Barkley's at the top of that list right now, as good as anybody along with Henry.
We'll get right back to the video. Want to take a quick minute to remind you about our friends over at BetUS, our great partners during this football season here at AFR Saints. Still got that great deal. You can get a 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next two deposits, up to $2,000. Be sure to use that promo code YouTube150. Let me show you how easy it is to lock in our bet for Saints Rams this week. You go to BetUS. Over on the left side, we'll hit the drop down on football, NFL Week 13 odds. It'll bring up every game. Saints got a weird afternoon slate this week with the Rams coming to the Dome, but there it is right there. The Saints right now are getting 3 points. Tell you what, just watch the Rams get run over by Saquon Barkley. The Saints coming off the bye, I think they're going to have success running the ball. And, of course, you hit that magic number of 3. I'm going to take 3 points with the home dog. Don't know if I'll love the Saints to win it, but 3 points at home, I'll take it. We'll go over here. We'll place a $25 bet. We'll hit place my bet. It'll ask me to confirm. A couple of taps, and just like that, we are confirmed with a $25 bet for the New Orleans Saints +3. It's that easy over at BetUS. Again, be sure to use that promo code YouTube150 to collect a 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two deposits, up to $2,000. Good luck. Who dat? Enjoy the rest of the video. Yeah, I'll ask about the Saints offense here in a second, but to stay on the Rams, what version of Matthew Stafford do you think the Saints and the Rams just don't play often. What version of Matthew Stafford do you think we're seeing here in 2024?
Well, a guy who's had to, they're a team that has leaned on him so much, and but he's used to it. In Detroit all those years, Matt Stafford didn't play well. Detroit didn't win. And then he comes over to gets a Super Bowl ring. And then, with guys leaving and with free agency and with their two top receivers who were hurt at the beginning of the year, they had to try and reinvent themselves and take care of their business. I love Matt Stafford. He is still capable. If you line up 5-6 guys in a league and put the ball in their hand and say, you got to throw it through that window to a tight window, he's still capable. I think he's one of the best throwers of the football. Mechanically, it looks different because he's a three-quarter guy, but he's been able to rip it his whole career. So I'm not ready to watch Matt Stafford walk away from football. I think there's a lot. There's that gas tank has got plenty in it. It's just that he got to have run game, got to have some help. Now, if you're the Rams and Sean McVay, well, they'd like to – everybody wants to run it. They say it, but your best chance to win it is still to play. They love the short passing game. You guys have seen that in your past in New Orleans, but with their two guys, with Puka and with Cooper Kupp, those guys will just find spots. I would imagine in this game, they're going to put the ball in Stafford's hands and let him do what he does and throw it around the lot. He's been doing it his whole career, but they're just not near as physical as they were when they were winning Super Bowls. They've got to get back to that, but they'll finesse you to death. If you don't hit him, he will destroy you. He's still capable of doing that.
It's interesting too, Sean, because this is one of the things with the Saints. I hate to say it's a lost season, but it feels like they're just playing out the string at this point. But
right.
But who knows? The division's terrible, and
yeah, don't tell the interim coach that, right?
Right. But one of the things they did obviously was they traded away Marshawn Lattimore, and Paulson Adebo is hurt, so they've moved Delonte Taylor out to the boundary after having playing in the slot, and now Kool-Aid and McKinstry are rookies playing the other outside cornerback slot. So one of the things everyone here is really interested in is how do those two young corners fare? Like, are they your guys for the future? Like, will you find that out here during the rest of the season? Well, this is a pretty interesting matchup. So what do you look for from those two guys in this game, given the matchup you're talking about with Stafford and those receivers?
Well, depending on now, Matt, I don't know if how they're going to approach following these guys around, because the one thing about these receivers is the versatility of moving them inside and outside in motion. They make it really difficult for you to line up and clutch and grab. You know what I'm saying? There's always, and it's McVay, and McVay and Shanahan, and movement to get guys going in a lot of stuff and picks and runaways. It's a great test for two young defensive backs. It is, depending on where they line up. And it's truth, McVay will go after them as well. And so will Stafford. And if you want to see if they're going to be tested, you'll learn a lot. They will be tested because they'll move around. And you know what? It's one thing to try and simulate Matt Stafford or somebody or those receivers on the practice field. Different ball game when they're out there. Precise, both of them, and the route. They know how to run routes. They are precise at it. They know exactly where they're going. And when they say a 12-yard route, it ain't run at 10. These two are probably the best combination of route runners and finishers. I'm just talking about in that controlled passing game environment. These are also two guys that Sean Payton would have loved, right? This is who they are. And so it'll be a challenge for their secondary. It will. And the best way to probably solve that is you better go hit the quarterback, because if he's setting his feet, those guys are going to get open. And it doesn't matter if you move them inside and they're followed, or you're chasing them around the field, or you move them outside. If you play a lot of man, play a lot of zone. But to me, if you're New Orleans, I want to see them deal with two of the best in the league at what they do. So it's a good, if they have mailed it. I don't want to say mailed it in as a team, but if they are looking to the future, you need to find out in 6 games is a good body of work to see what they got. And if you can hold up against this passing game, because if they are, like I said, if he can set his feet and rip it, they'll take their shots, and that they will. This is the type of team that both guys between the two of them can have 20 catches. That's how they're going to get a lot of targets and throws. So a good test. When you come out of this one, you're going to, number one, be exhausted if you're those two players and you're playing a lot of man coverage, but you're going to know that you've been through a passing game that understands zones and where to sit down. So it's a good challenge for them, not only physically, but mentally understanding how good passing schemes attack it when they have two good players and then some offensively. The Rams can still score when Stafford's upright. They can. They just lack the dominate you at the line of scrimmage that the good teams have right now.
Yeah, it's so interesting. They're 20th in the league, just 21 points per game, but it's in there. Like it could explode at any moment.
Right. They've been so because I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
They've been so up and down, but I can assure you that they are capable of throwing 40 on somebody. That because of the guy who throws it, and they have, and what do they got to lose? But just doing what they're trying to find out something about themselves. So they are down offensively scoring, and a lot of that obviously they were without their guys for a minute. But you know how formidable they are. I assure you, the Saints defense knows exactly what their game plan is going to have to be. Those two can't take the game over. Yeah. If they do, then that means that Stafford's had the type of game that has made him, quite frankly, a Hall of Fame quarterback.
What do you think about Carr in this game? It's been interesting, Sean. Marquez Valdes-Scantling's been amazing as a deep threat. I can't believe that guy was unemployed. It's like, how is he just
amazing how the fit, you go somewhere else and it fits and works, isn't it? Yeah, no doubt.
How do you think Derek Carr in the Saints passing game with Scantling and don't really know who else go match up against that Rams secondary?
I think well, and I think a big help this week is also going to be if the ability to run the football, and you know that. And listen, I don't really care what it is. I'm an old school Raider philosophy guy that I like to take shots early. I want to back them off, and I want to come out of the chute and let's take a shot and see how they're going to play us, meaning the Rams secondary, and to find out, what they're going to do with their front and their coverage and tie those in together. Listen, they are limited weapons. There is no question about it, are the Saints, but you can manufacture creating some opportunities in this guy. And they know, listen, they're going to probably roll some coverage and not let him have the deep shots that he wants. But I think this is one of those games that if you're the Saints, you'd probably like to keep it under 30 throws. I do. And mix in Taysom Hill running it, have him mix in a few throws and run the football. I do. But I don't think you want to get into a passing fancy. I just don't. Now, neither team this year is going to, go to the places they want to go. But you can throw it around. The difference is how you going to work formations and what are you going to do to set up an opportunity to get that guy open, Scantling, and then also try to find. You're going to have to find other weapons in the passing game. And the screen game is going to be important. And I think Alvin Kamara is one of our best slow screen guys on the planet. And Taysom Hill can mix him in. So I think you got to get multiple with your formations to try and create him. And I'm a big believer in taking my best weapon, receiver, and putting him in a lot of different spots. I am. And make it tough for them to, when I say find him, make it tough for them to know where they're rolling the coverage too. Because right now he's their biggest big play guy. And you're right, hard to believe that he was unemployed for a minute. So big play guy, you can take one away. The key for them is also going to be in the receivers, the running back, and getting them involved and how exotic will the Saints be in this. But you're capable of lining them up and running right down their throat. But some play action ought to work, especially with the success the Eagles have had this past week and with the ability of the Kamaras and Taysom Hills to take care of their business. I would expect the Saints to try and dominate the line of scrimmage and then mix in some big plays out of play action.
Thanks so much for watching the video. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, hit the bell so you're notified when we post a new video, and remember to support BetUS, where right now you can get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000. Be sure to use that promo code YouTube150.